Hello everyone, I'm Santiago, and today I'm gonna be testing Hogwarts Legacy on the Nintendo Switch, so one of the impossible ports, and this one really impressed me when it was announced. I thought it was going to be cancelled or something, but before jumping into how it runs and all that, let me show you some cheats that the community made. There's a 60 FPS cheat that basically disables the dynamic resolution targeting 30 FPS, but you can also increase the resolution. Unfortunately, anything past 720p is basically 20 FPS, even with overclock. But you can disable film grain, the vignette, motion blur, you can enable it. You can increase the anti-aliasing quality. The draw distance didn't work for me. I tried this, anisotropic filtering as well. You can even disable shadows or increase the shadow quality and the shadow view distance, which again, this one didn't work for me. Same with screen space, ambient occlusion. So it's basically like, quote unquote, the PC version. You can increase the material quality as well. So there's a lot of stuff that you can tweak here. But let me show you first stock settings. So we're on docked mode right now. And we're basically with the default settings inside Hogwarts. And as you can see, when moving around, you get those stutters. I mean, the PC version has the same issue, it's no surprise. But the real drops happen in resolution, happen outside. And well, each time you leave Hogwarts or you're entering Hogsmeade, you have a loading screen. But again, considering it's a Nintendo Switch, I think it's mind-blowing that they got this to work at all. But you'll see that the concessions to resolution are pretty high. The top resolution that I saw at docked mode was 720p. Textures take some time to load as well, as far as I remember. There we go. Alright, so it's daytime now. As you can see, more students over here. There are still drops in performance, so it's definitely not perfect.
Are you alright? Look like you've seen a ghost.
So probably, in this case, you can probably notice it's a mix of GPU limitation and CPU limitation. The CPU is crying right now, it's at 90%.
I know.
So yeah, when you go outside, it's when it likes to break. So let's break it even further. Let's do this. Let's fly. Could even help us to fly, actually. But as you can see in docked mode, I don't think it's particularly great. When it comes to dynamic resolution, it can drop pretty low. But again, it's Hogwarts Legacy on the Switch. And I'm doing a stress test, basically. I'm going outside to drop frames, basically. So yeah, what are my suggestions? Well, first of all, overclock. So I'm going to do an overclock that should be achievable by most people. I could go further, but this is what most people should be able to. 1963 MHz on the CPU, the RAM at 1996, and the GPU at 1998. So again, most people in docked mode on any Switch should be able to get this frequency. It's completely safe. Then, well, we can see the frame rate now. It's more stable. I move the camera, let's fly a little bit. It's not 100% perfect, but it's way better, as you can probably notice. So I would say if you're playing docked, you need to overclock. In my opinion, at least. Now, in the Forbidden Forest. And as you can see, the trees kind of flicker in the distance. But again, with the overclock, it's completely fine. Do some combat. And well, having played the PC version since day one, I can tell you the effects are dropped significantly, obviously. Oh, that's okay. That's okay.
Don't go down easy.
And I can do all the unforgivable curses that I want. But again, considering it's a Switch, it blows my mind. Just overclock for stability. Especially on Hogwarts. Alright. Now I think it's time to do the impossible, which means targeting 6 FPS. So how do we target 6 FPS? You might ask. Well, there's a mod for that, a cheat, called 6 FPS. So this disables the dynamic resolution targeting 30 and adds a dynamic resolution targeting 60. So 60 on, and we use the dynamic resolution with a 6 FPS target. There we go. So it'll look blurrier, but it will target 60. So, let me see, yeah. Perfect. And I'm going to keep the overclock, let's be real here. And let's see the frame rate. Okay, in the forest, we're in the 40s, and the resolution is lower, I can notice it already. But again, I want to see how Hogwarts holds up. But due to CPU limitations and GPU limitations, 60 is in this game, well, not going to happen. You can see that even when effects show up. And when Avada Kedavering enemies, it's gone forever. So yeah, 60 is not going to happen, especially even in docked mode. So let's go to Hogwarts. Okay, we're inside Hogwarts. And as you can see here, we're CPU limited. The GPU is not being fully utilized and we're hitting 42 FPS. With using a lower resolution, of course. Of course, I had to enter. So another loading screen, that's okay. But the full fat game is here. Just has loading screens in the middle, a lower resolution, paired back settings. But it's on a Switch. What the hell? How did they do it? And inside Hogwarts, again, drops into the 40s, but 60 is not going to happen, I'm sorry. If you lower the settings, even turn off shadows, you can get closer, but we're still CPU limited. So it's time to go to handheld. One sec. Now in handheld, and we're running in Hogwarts, outside of Hogwarts actually. And what I find interesting is that the GPU clock that the developers chose for this game is 460 MHz, which is higher than what I usually see. A little bit higher, but they're going to need everything that they can. And we get 7 hours of battery with this, that's insane. What the hell? Witchcraft, literally. So, let's just fly away. And let's see what happens. Flying controls are so bad. Left and right on the left stick, and up and down on the right stick. Confusing as hell. And well, when you're in handheld, the resolution target is not going to be 720. I mean, probably it is, but with the dynamic resolution it's probably dropping much lower than that. And on the smaller screen, yeah, well, you see the jaggies and everything. It's not as terrible due to the smaller screen. Don't get me wrong, it's noticeable. And when flying around, we drop into the mid-20s. So it seems that portable mode is more stable than handheld. Sorry, portable mode is more stable than docked when it comes to flying around. So yeah, That's pretty cool. Let's go to the Forbidden Forest, but again, on the GPU side, we're maxed out. The dynamic resolution is kicking in very, very often. You can see those trees that are very flickery. When you get close, they look a tiny bit better. So it's obviously worse looking, but that's to be expected. So if you want, my biggest thing with portable mode is the resolution. So what I would do in this case, it's an overclock. So we overclock, we reach basically what we had on docked mode. But if you look at the image quality, it's significantly better. This is the best way to play the game in my opinion on Switch. Because if you switch off the resolution scale, I'm going to zoom in to show you what I'm talking about. It comes from being blocky. Let me find a better angle for that. So if you see at the image there, it completely changes the resolution. I think the resolution target at 720p is shared between docked and portable mode. But in portable mode has such a huge impact in image quality to increase the GPU clock due to the dynamic resolution that I cannot not recommend to overclock. Again, it looks completely different. It's so much better looking. I'm not even kidding. There's way less aliasing. And the frame rate is more stable because we also boost the CPU. And you get 5 hours of battery anyway, so yeah. You can do this pretty damn well. And when I'm fighting, doesn't seem to matter at all to the CPU and GPU. Let's see. In with Avada Kedavra. So again, my advice for this one, if you have a Switch, please overclock on portable mode, and if you're playing docked, overclock as well, but keep the CPU as your priority to have stability when running around. But again, mind-blowing how much of an improvement it is in portable mode.
Lumos.
It's the way to play the game in my opinion. Now outside Hogwarts, but in a bigger part. And it looks great when it comes to resolution in comparison to not overclocking. I mean, the trees don't flicker. You can see Hogwarts very defined. Again, we're playing in a small screen. And with the OLED, the colors really pop. And the contrast is quite high. So let's fly a little bit. Let's see how it fares. Alright. And as you can see, the frame rate is much more stable than without the overclock, obviously. But that would be my advice. Portable mode with an overclock is king. The resolution impact is insanely high. And well, you get as a bonus the stability when moving around. The increased stability. And you basically have a Hogwarts Legacy on the go with 4 hours of battery. Despite the overclock, if you have the OLED switch, you should be able to reach these clocks on any switch. But I cannot say it enough how much of an improvement it is in portable mode. So portable mode is king. And well, that's basically my video. I hope you guys enjoyed the look at Hogwarts Legacy on the Switch. I also tried it on Steam Deck. That looks obviously significantly better because better CPU and GPU. But the fact that they made it run at 30 FPS on a very old CPU, 4 GB of RAM, Quad-core CPU, mobile chip is completely mind-blowing. Props to the developers. Just don't play in dock mode. In my opinion, very unstable. And in a big TV, it doesn't look great. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye guys. Thanks for watching.